Okay, so chapter 10, the lesson of play. So I think the first thing I wrote was babies and young children feel the feelings and more. I can't read my own writing. It's 156. Oh yeah, babies and young children feel their feelings and move through them. So that's actually from chapter 9. And then moving chapter 10. Dance like there's no tomorrow. This generation knows how to do but not be. I think that's also more about just kind of social media and like showing off kind of thing, and just like, I don't know, not enjoying the moment so much as like taking 50 pictures and all sorts of things like that. Let me see if I had anything else for chapter 10. Okay. Starved for laughter. Oh, starved for play. Laughter is self-fulfilling medicine. I definitely feel that. I laugh a lot. I'd probably laugh too much. I laugh when I'm nervous. I laugh like even when I'm sad. I just laugh all the time. I laugh even when it's not necessary. And then some people really need a break, honestly, and I can see that just by meeting them. Meeting a lot of different people. Okay, and then the craziest part about this book is that the example they gave for like taking the enjoyment out of like your hobbies was a business venture, which was selling furniture. And the craziest thing is, my friend calls me up about 40 minutes or so, and 40 minutes before I think, yeah, right before I read it, he told me he wanted to turn his furniture that he does in his room into a business. And so the first thing I did was say, are you sure about that? Because it might take the fun out of it. So I thought it was crazy that that was the example they gave, and that's exactly what my friend thought of that day. We discount fun as a waste of time. We feel we don't deserve to have fun or be happy, so we sabotage our lives. Play now or pay later. So I always tell people I like the reward system. Like, you do work and then you earn playtime. But there's times when I think it is healthy to just get out there and just be free and not worried. Give some time to yourself. Oh my gosh, I just had like a Twitter rant, a Tumblr rant, whatever, social media, because my friends would not give me time to myself. And I hesitate to tell people it's time for myself because they actually get offended and think that I'm telling them I don't want to hang out with them personally. And that's probably something I really wish people would understand, because I've lost a couple friends who thought it was something deeply personal, but it was just, I can't see people every single day and like keep having the energy level. I'm gonna get like cranky. So if we keep playing, we'll stay young inside. And like I said, I do have an obsession with staying young, but in a positive way, not in an immature way. And then regain some of our lost innocence. And then I was thinking about this today, and think I just wrote keep taking chances, even when you're older. So chapter 11, the lesson of patience. So I definitely need this lesson a lot, but some people I know need it more than me. So I need patience the most. You don't always get what you want, you always get what you need. That is just so frustrating because everyone I know likes to control everything. It's like insane. If you start to look around, everybody has OCD, but my friends just take it to another level because they have to control everything. It's like driving, it's like what time, it's like what place, it's like what they wear. I think they need to free themselves and just relax. And nobody has patience. I think I realized after I wrote this, I have a lot more patience than other people because working with customer service as well, people will just be like this all the time, and I'm like, I almost feel bad for them because the way that I do things is so different and it's so relaxing. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm too relaxed sometimes. And then people no longer know how to wait. Oh my gosh, you can see that everywhere. Phones and like TV and everything makes people so impatient. It's very frustrating. We think the alarm clock wakes us up every morning, but it's God who does. Oh yeah. We think the alarm clock wakes us up every morning, but it is God who decides to wake us up. That is really something to think about. Okay, chapter 12, the lesson of surrender. So, what I wrote about this chapter is there is power in the world. Having patience is having faith. I think that's from chapter 11. Yeah. And then the universe is concerned with who you are. Okay, moving in chapter 12. The universe, there is no weakness or pain in surrender. And then we let go of our way. Okay. You know what? I like how this is put. In letting go, we release our mental pictures of how things should turn out and accept what the universe brings us. That's kind of what I do, and it actually, I can tell it frustrates other people because they're kind of like, just decide what you want to do. Just decide everything. Just have everything together. Just have a time. And that's not how I am at all. In fact, I'm more like, I'll see what comes to me. Even in the case of this book, I needed something to inspire me, to motivate me, to tell me to keep going. And this book literally came to me, and that's why I'd like to share it. And we don't always know what is in our best interests. Thy will, not my will. And then surrender was a choice, and it did not mean giving up. It's crazy to think we don't know what actually is the best for us. That's why it's important not to like force things, and that's why I try to avoid doing that a lot. So that's one thing I got from the surrender chapter. And then the last thing for chapter 12, I'll say, we have all become so very controlling. I just mentioned that. Just take a look. Just there's so much. It's just technology and how quickly everything goes. We can find healing even if nothing changes. That's true. If we don't get what we want, we're still the same person. We can still go on. This is how surrender works, and that is how life works. Subtly. Oh my gosh, I'm still learning this right now. Like, not everything has to be out there. And I feel like in the past I was like trying to push it. But it just needs to be, you let more things happen. You make slight choices. You do slight things and you kind of just go with the flow. And it's like all these cliche phrases are kind of like the way that I've always lived, but this is just reaffirming that even close to death, like, people are thinking about these solid phrases to live by. And then the serenity prayer, to find the good in the bad, is one of the most rewarding lessons I've learned. I've pretty much in the past couple years converted to just complete optimism almost. Basically, I can turn anything into an optimistic situation. Like, I've started saying at least so many times in the day because I don't want to hear so much negativity. It's okay if I hear gossip once in a while, and there's gotta be bad stuff that happens, but if someone's like, well, he broke up with me, and I'm like, at least you're single now. Like, there's always just another side that I try to show people now, and I don't know if it's just my idea of myself maturing or just I changed my mind, and I've been doing that. And this book comes at the perfect time because I thought I was being maybe too nice, but the optimism is probably better for everyone around me as well. Okay, so chapter 13, the lesson of forgiveness. So I think this is definitely, I see why it's one of the closing chapters, because it's very important to me and very difficult for me to, like, try to do. So we have a choice to live in forgiveness or unforgiveness. That's true. And then forgiveness does not mean letting people walk all over us. That is what I like too, because I'm leaning towards pushover status and letting people just kind of tell me, where to go, what to do, and it's just my nature to be like, I'm trying to go with the flow. But sometimes, like, people take advantage of that, and that I'm not okay with. And if you identify it, then yeah, you can't let people do that. So that's what I've learned too. It's easier to blame someone than to repair a relationship. I feel like that's what I do a lot. Like, it sounds like I'm just blaming the other person, but the thing is, I take ownership for what I do, but I'm not gonna repair a relationship that was damaging to me. And that's what I realized too. Like, there's no point in repairing a relationship where they did take advantage of my forgiveness and my easy going attitude, because in those same relationships they also didn't acknowledge that I get angry sometimes, and that I have a different personality and I'm just more calm. I don't always have to just be active in doing all of this forgiveness. Give the situation to God. That's the other thing. Even if you do not believe in God, what I take from the book is that just let a situation work itself out sometimes. Because obviously other times you have to take action, but there have been a lot of times where I've seen people and I was like, why did you even interfere at all? Because I feel like if you just left it, if you would just leave the person, give them time, it'll work itself out. In some cases, it may make it worse. that I do say, but for the most part, I feel like people just need to chill and not take so much control. So, the next thing I wrote about was we are here in this life to make mistakes. We are here in this life to make mistakes. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be here at all, and then open our hearts again. So, one thing I always say, if you've had the worst life, if you feel like you hate your life, you don't like anything about it, the only thing I can think of, like in the deepest depression and the worst thing you can think of, the worst place you've been in your life, is that we're here for that experience. All I'm thinking about, if I'm thinking about other people that I want to help them understand, is that other people have died, yes, but if they were living, they wouldn't want you to live that way. And I guess I'm trying to like take it out of my head and just like make it something that I can articulate. But basically, the fact that you're alive is for a reason. That's what I do believe. Like, that's why I'm also saying you don't have to believe in God, but the fact that you have an existence is important. And I think you don't always have to make a difference in the whole world, but I definitely think that you can take advantage of the life that you've been given, basically. And then even if like the times are rough or you're going through something, like basically do it for someone else who is not here. That's how I think of it. I'm not sure. And then open our hearts again. That's probably the hardest thing to do. People just like to close off and finish a chapter, never open again. And that's how I am sometimes too, but I think there's definitely, it's healthier to not do that. Okay, so chapter 14, the lesson of happiness. I'm so excited for this chapter. So, with the conclusion of this book, here are some of the things that I found. We have been given all we need to make us happy. Like, if you just think about that, it's kind of like, oh, so I don't need the diamonds and the mansions of that might come later, but why would you need any of that, honestly, to be happy? And then happiness depends not on what happens, but on how we handle what happens. I truly believe that too, because if you, let's say something happened to me, I dropped my phone, cracked the screen, I'm like, okay, if that happened, and I'm so sad about the phone, I'm so attached to like materialistic stuff, that kind of doesn't make sense to me. But if I'm just calm about it, I feel like that will be the moment that it doesn't matter anymore. And that is what happened. I was like, this isn't even important. Like, the crack doesn't matter. It's still a working phone. Like, just little things like that remind me of that. We can never be happy if we compare oneself to others. I feel like with women too, I don't know if other people do that, where you're always like, that girl is so pretty, like, there's no way I could be as pretty as her. Like, you'll go on for the rest of your life saying that if you actually are comparing yourself to somebody else. Because, first of all, no one looks exactly like you. Like, even if you are a twin, all I'm thinking is no one has your exact look. It's just impossible. Or no one is you, pretty much. Even if you look a certain way, you can do something different. That's how I feel. We can never be happy. Yeah. You are not a victim of the world. That's what I really can agree on. Is I don't like when people going around saying, I'm really sometimes I do say, so I'm really unlucky. I usually instead say weird stuff happens to me. But I think you can change things. You don't have to always say, someone did this to me. You should just move on. Getting the things we're wanting, getting the things we're waiting for doesn't make us happy. Let me see this. 2:12. Getting our wins never pleases us for long. Okay, so like when this happens, when is now. We can be in discourse, but our destiny is never off course. I really like that as a quote too. And then life makes us wrestle with all kinds of paradoxes. 31. Yeah. Destiny is never off course. So basically, your destiny is always following you. Okay, so I wrote one of the notes I wrote, we are a mass of contradictions. Most of my time is filled with just existing. I think that's Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Yeah, and then before her passing, and then unlearning negative ways of thinking. That's definitely what I've been doing. And then before reading this, or after reading this book, I've been doing it even more. And then life's answers are usually simple. I can definitely agree with that. We make things more complicated than they need to be most of the time. Okay, and then the final lesson chapter. I forgot about that one. So with the final lessons, so I guess the last part, you don't get another life like this one. You'll never again play this role and experience this life as it's been given to you. You won't have this experience again. No one else will have your experience through your eyes. So I guess I wrote to share my experience that, life lessons kind of changed for me. It was the last time I went to the beach. It was the first time in a long time I actually looked at the water and enjoyed the ocean. So that's what I wrote as the lesson I shared, where I realized I wasn't enjoying every moment. And then I went to the beach for an interview, and I had just a moment where I was like, why don't I just enjoy this time here? And so after the interview, I just went to the beach and put my feet in the water for a little bit. So that was cool. So this book was a really positive book for me. The back says, is this really how I want to live my life? Immediately I was like, I need to read this, because I don't know if the way I'm living is like what I'm gonna agree with when I'm closer to dying. But I'm really satisfied with the lessons from this book. I feel like they really taught me a lot, and I feel like I'm gonna use it as my kind of guide now and probably go back to it. And yeah, so I just wanted to share my experience with the book, how I got the book. Please let me know if anyone has a similar experience with the book. Now that I've finished it, I think I'm gonna go and check out anything anybody else has said about the book and what they thought about it. And yeah, I just like to hear what if anybody has advice, if anybody has stories they want to share related to the book too, that would be really awesome. But I love the book and I'm hoping to read more. I haven't read any more Kubler-Ross or Kessler. This is my first experience with them, but I've heard amazing things about the both of them, and so I'm hoping to read more. And yeah, I should have an article linked in the description box from the beginning of the video, but if not, let me know. But it was great discussing the book. I might follow up if I have any more connections with it, but hopefully I'll have more material I've read from the authors. And yeah, have a great, blessed day.